So before I get started in the vegetable garden, what I'm going to be doing is I have this wonderful greenery right here. It's growing like a weed in our back section in our woods, and it's called Pachysandra. And it's a wonderful like filler for gardens. And so what I'm going to be doing as a Mother's Day present for my boyfriend's mom, we are going to be planting a garden for her. Not really planting a garden for her, but we're going to be planting in her garden to kind of fill it in, to make it look nice for her. And so we have all these wonderful plants for her that we're going to be bringing along, but I thought this would be great to fill in so that her garden always looks green, because this stuff it's green all year long. It can withstand the frost, it can withstand the snow, it's green all year long. So I'm going to grab a whole bunch of this, we're going to take it over there, and whatever we don't use there, we'll bring and put in our front gardens, because it's loose enough. It doesn't fill in and choke out other plants, so plants can easily grow in between it and around it. So that's what we're going to do right now first. And this stuff is great because even if you break it apart and you break it from the root, it still roots itself again. So it's not like you have to stress super much about making sure you have, you don't break the root, because it's all connected to each other. So that's why I love it. And ours is already filling in for us, and I just planted some of it in our front garden a couple weeks ago, and it's already starting to fill in. So we're just gonna grab as much as we can get. I found out from my mom about this stuff, and this is how I found out about it, because I didn't know what it was, and my mom came here and she was like, that's Pachysandra, and it's a great cover crop, not cover crop, but filler for filling in gardens and stuff. Well, one of the things she told me is if we went to a garden center, it would be quite expensive to get just one of these plants. And I went there today, and when I found them, it was like $10 for this small little container of this ground cover. And I'm like, I have a good, at least, I don't know, I want to say close to 50 yards of, well, not maybe, because it goes way back there, of this stuff just kind of growing. So I'm like, maybe I could just buy it or dig it up and start selling it. Who knows? But probably not, just because I'm like that. I'll probably just give it away to get rid of it.
So now I am clearing out where we are going to start planting our tomatoes and green beans and some peppers. And I decided, instead of building a chicken tunnel along this back fence, we would use it to utilize more space for our garden. And that is what I'm doing now. I'm getting it all cleared up and clean.
So while we're working in this garden, one thing you're going to notice is we pull up a lot of mint. This garden used to be a garden, and the previous owners just neglected it, and they had mint growing in here. And if you don't know, mint grows like a weed. And so we have spent the last 2 years, this is going to be our 3rd year, working on trying to get all the mint out. It's never going to end, but we keep trying. However, it does make the garden smell really nice while we're working. lot of our plants, just to kind of open up on space in our garden, we're going to plant a lot of our plants along the fence line. We can't over on one side just because we have our chicken run over there. But we're going to be planting a lot of our plants along this fence line and building trellises for them. Now, in true homesteader fashion, we are not spending money on the trellises. I am having our two boys go out and find us some long, straight, fairly straight sticks, and we're going to put them in there and then weave probably twine through them so that our plants can grow up from there. But that's one way we're doing it to kind of save money. In true homesteader fashion, you use what you got and you make do. So go get some more of the plants over there.
Okay.
The one that's tipped over a little bit. Nope, over here. The one that's tipped over and the one that was behind, and that's the last one in that row.
Okay.
Now right now, we are planting some bush lake beans. One, we're trying to get them out of our house because our cat has been enjoying snacking on them. And two, they are just starting to get a little too big to be in our house. Later on this week, we're going to be planting our tomatoes, just it still gets a little too cold at night for those. So,
Open it.
let's get, do you want to go grab that shovel over there, honey? And you'll help me dig?
So we are going to be almost planting in every video my mommy takes. So that's why we can do it. And so this is what we're planting. And we have some plants that cats, when they eat them, they go crazy. And that's what we're going to want to do when we go in the farm.
Hey, you're right my way. We're planting kind of in between things. So I'm putting the beans in here fairly spaced apart, more than I normally would, because in the middle of these are going to be planting the tomatoes and the peppers. Not sure how it's going to do, but we're going to give it a try. So along this back wall is going to be all of our bush lake beans. They are a fairly traditional green bean, but they're more bushy than most. So we're going to go with that.
Yep. Now we're up to the next row. So we got
We have one more of the bush lake to do, honey. We gotta do that first.
Right now I am actually starting to put in the sticks that the boys found to create the trellis system. What these have done, and you'll see in later videos, is we were able to kind of trellis up most of the plants. They weren't able to hold the tomato plants, that just got a little too heavy, so we did have to use some of the stakes that we had randomly throughout the house. They were metal stakes.
make it easier. So we're gonna go on a hunt for some boys to see if they're doing what we need them to do. Let's see, because we're looking for sticks. Let's see if they're finding any.
It's harder than you think. It's way easier said than done.
All right, let's go on a hunt for the other one. Out in the woods. Are you finding sticks?
Yeah.
Trevor! Trevor!
What?
That's a good one.
No, it is. It has sticks on the side.
And those can be broken off. Look it. I literally am breaking them off right now.
Why do you break them?
Look at that. That's a good one. You can take it and I'll break the sticks off later. There you go. You found another one. That's perfect.
Look at that.
That's another good one, Danny.
We need to cut it down.
So if you guys don't know,
We have a
These
pile
kids-
of sticks.
what?
We had a pile of sticks.
And what did you guys just start today?
Picking them up.
Your own YouTube channel
Oh, yeah, it's true.
called
ZB Kids.
ZB Kids.
And
So if you're looking out for them and you want to watch them and take a look at what's happening in their eyes on the
and
farm.
don't forget hit the subscribe button.
Exactly.
And
Make sure you.
like, and,
Yup.
And the bell. Hit the
Exactly.
notification button. That's what it's called.
Yes, they are going to be introducing all of you to the life on a homestead and farm as we go on from their eyes.
And we planted a sunflower.
Yup.
In our first video, we
Their
planted
first video was planting a sunflower
And you can use this.
and probably picking up sticks.
And you can probably see we're in a sword fight. We need.
So the boys told me that you started a YouTube channel. Is that true?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's it called?
It's called
ZB Kids.
ZB Kids. And,
Yeah.
and we're gonna make like up to 100 videos. Seriously.
And what is it going to be about? Is it the life of was it the life on the farm through your eyes?
Kinda. It's about the life of the farm of my eyes and Trevor's and Danny's, which are my brothers.
Yeah.
And my whole family.
Awesome.
And
What should they do if they go to the channel?
they should
Hit like and subscribe, maybe?
hit like and subscribe. Next video I'm going to say, please hit the subscribe down below.
So, just so you know, like this little thing here, we're actually working on an automatic waterer for our chickens. So we'll actually fill that through, right now we'll be filling it through our sprinkler system. So that's what's going on there. But we have a bunch of sticks that the kids collected that we are going to be planting into the ground. We have some of the stakes already in the ground that I'm going to start putting the twine around. This whole section right here are our Blue Lake bush beans. Then back here from this corner this way to about here is going to be Kalima beans. Don't have anything planted in that area yet. And then from here all the way to the end, we have, I want to say it's our dragon tongue beans. Unfortunately, the tag went missing because my cat has an affinity for those ones, I think. So the tag went missing. I'm pretty sure they are the dragon tongue beans. And then in this back section, we'll be planting pinto beans because our family loves our refried beans. So we're going to do it on our own. Now, right now I am stopping for the night. I'm more than likely going to come back out in a little bit, but I got to stop to get the kids taken care of. I'm going to quickly water the plants that I have done just so they get a good soaking and ready for. Here is kind of so you can see what we're doing. These stakes right here, we dug into the ground, and those we're going to do what, some sort of a cording. It could be twine, it could be something else. In between them and weave them in between them. As the plants grow, we'll add more. But then the plants will kind of grow up those wires in a sense. So that's kind of what we're working on right now. A couple days ago, we did a test on our soil. I bought a sample test from Amazon. I don't even remember which one it was. If I do, I'll link it down below. But it's a soil test, and it tests not only pH, but also calcium, phosphorus, and nitrogen. And I didn't test the other ones. I wanted to test the pH of our soil. And one thing that we found through this was that our soil is very, very alkaline. So we just bought some organic soil acidifier. Now this is stuff usually used for hydrangeas to turn the blue hydrangeas blue, but we are using it to kind of add some acidifier into our soil some acid into our soil right now as an immediate change. And then I'm also going to come through with some compost from the back. And we're going to I'm going to pile up a bunch of compost on here. One, the compost will help keep everything moist because ours is not fully broken down yet. And two, it'll slowly put acid in as well. But that is what we're going to do. Today and this evening, I'm hoping we can get the tomatoes and peppers and start planting those. It's too hot right now to plant. So we are going to do that a little bit later when it's cooled off a little bit. So we'll do that either tonight and tomorrow, but we've got a lot to plant, so we're gonna see what happens. We're gonna go with it. Right now, Justin is actually throwing down an entire bag where we are going to be putting all of our corn because our soil here is very, very alkaline.
Maybe we can start putting ice cubes. Maybe we start making ice cubes with corn in it or something.
We can give them some ice treats.
Yeah.
No, I was trying to see when if we had a package because I think
you're waiting for the mister.
the mister's I think supposed to come today or tomorrow.
Yeah, I thought it was.
Hello everyone. So it is bright early in the morning. I want to say it's a little after 7 o'clock. And we are getting started. Now for you guys it's only been a few seconds. For us it's been overnight. Now the reason we're doing this so early in the morning planting is because it gets too hot in the middle of the day, even now, for us to plant in the middle of the day. It would throw our plants into shock and it would kill them. Now my plants have been sitting outside in the sun for now, I want to say about 2 days. They've been outside on our patio, so they should be fairly acclimated to the weather, the sun, the heat, all of that. So what I am doing now, is I'm getting ready to start planting. Now our soil needs quite a bit of amendment. I did a test, like I said yesterday, all of that. So I am going to be planting it, putting into each one of our holes that we dig today. So we're planting tomatoes, peppers, and hopefully our corn. But in each of the holes, I'm going to be adding a little bit of this blood meal and these eggshells. Now these eggshells are actually crumbled up from our own chicken's eggs. And we're going to put a little bit into each hole for the peppers and the tomatoes to kind of help them. And then throughout the summer, we'll add more amendments to the soil around them to make sure that they get enough nutrients. Once we get all of these planted, we'll actually be adding compost from our back on top of these as well to kind of help with some of the nutrition that they're going to need. But it's going to be a fun and busy day of planting and all the other stuff we have to do. So now the first plants we're planting, we're actually going to be doing these cherry tomatoes. These are called Barry's Crazy Cherry, and I am actually really excited about these ones because from what I've heard from other people is they grow like an insane amount of cherry tomatoes on one vine. I'm talking close to like 20 or more, and I have heard the flavor is incredible too. So we're gonna get these planted out. And I'm just adding about a teaspoon of each, the blood meal and the calcium, into each one of these holes. These are probably still a little small compared to like what other people are doing right now, but it's because we had to start a late seedlings because unfortunately the weather did not cooperate with us and ended up staying cold for way too long. So I will be pruning these a lot more as we go because they're going to need pruning as they grow up, but that's okay. Meal is for nitrogen, strictly nitrogen. That's all it provides. Because plants at the very beginning, they really like nitrogen, and then as they grow, they're going to need other things like phosphorus and carbon. I want to say it's carbon, but it's not. So what I'm going to do is slowly as they grow and everything, we'll just add other supplements, but calcium is one of the main ones that tomatoes and peppers really like to get the really great flavor. But nitrogen is for all of the heavy feeders, which tomatoes, corn, peppers, all of that, they're heavy feeders. And so nitrogen is a great one to kind of keep it going. And blood meal is one of the easiest and fastest ways to do it. Now, if you don't notice, I am trying to leave some space. I am packing these in a little tighter than probably normal because I'm trying to use up as much space as we have. We don't have a very big garden for the amount of people we're trying to feed in our house. So I am packing them in a little tighter than I normally would, just to utilize space a little bit. But in between all of these is going to be peppers. I'm going to plant nasturtiums. I'm going to plant a bunch of different things. The nasturtiums are more just to help keep some of the not so fun animals away, or pests away from the plants, and also put beneficial nutrients into the soil. The next up we're going to be planting is purple, I can't remember the exact name, it's inside, but it's a purple tomato, and I want to say this one is also a cherry tomato. Maybe not. Oh, purple bumblebee. Yes, this is a cherry tomato. And so it's kind of, by the description, it's a little bit more purple. And so we're going to get started on these ones now. seeing this weed right here and wondering why I'm not pulling it. So this is actually not a weed. This is violet. The flowers and the leaves of this are extremely beneficial for medicinal herbs, but also for desserts. The flowers especially are really good for desserts. So any violet that I'm finding in my garden, I'm pretty much leaving where it is, even if it's growing in the middle of the path, just because I do want it to kind of spread and produce more. I am probably not going to harvest it this year, but I want it to spread because it is such a beneficial plant. Same with dandelions. Those all bring in amazing beneficial bugs to help with the garden, so I'm not going to get rid of anything that's going to benefit my garden. So these guys are staying now, like all of this like crabgrass and stuff. This will all be leaving and getting taken out. Same with clover. Clover is more than welcome to stay because all of those kind of bring in the beneficial bugs that we need for our garden. And so, yeah, I'm kind of leaving some of that stuff in here because I want it to be growing in here. Now, mint is also a beneficial one. However, it will take over this garden, and I am actually 3 years in now. I am still fighting with the mint that had overtaken this area before we created a garden. So mint is kind of my enemy at this point. So we have it in a bucket, however much we want, and it's staying there, and the rest is leaving. And now we're getting started on some Amish paste tomatoes. These are the ones that I usually plant just because we do can a lot of tomatoes. Or our goal is to can a lot of tomatoes. So we're going to get started on these. And then we also have, I think, a Roma tomato and then maybe one other. I can't remember. We planted a lot of different tomatoes this year, which is not normal. We usually plant like 2 or 3 varieties and that's it.
Don't forget to like and subscribe so you can keep up to date on what is happening at ZV Farms.